Hi guys, you're here with Black Excellence Bristol and we're acknowledging achievements and aspirations. I'm here with the lovely Elle, aka Mose Issie. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Is that good? Is that good
pronunciation? Yes, that's good, thank you.
And actually, I don't know loads about what you do. I know you do lots of different things. Obviously, I've seen you used to, or sort of still do / used to do presenting on Ujima.
Yes.
My introduction to you was again through the protest last year, and I thought you spoke like so well.
Thank
and
you.
so if you like, yeah, it's no problem. If you'd like to give our viewers some insight into what sort of things you do on a daily basis, but on a
I would classify myself as a creative artist. I used to say content creator, but actually I use the content that's already there to recreate the stories of Black people in different mediums. So I'm a self-love coach. I've got a new website coming out soon. I'm an activist, as you know.
Yeah, of course, yep.
At protest all the time. I'm a Black queer rights activist mainly, so that's my passion, is fighting for the Black queer rights in and out of the community. I work with children. That's my biggest passion, is working with kids and letting them understand that they have autonomy and absolute right to the land in which they live in. I'm a podcaster, and like I said, I'm a radio presenter as well on Ujima. So there's a couple of things that I do, and I'm a writer as well, so I do write poetry, spoken word, music, all that kind of stuff.
And that's why I didn't want to just like sort of pigeonhole. I thought I'd let you like explain what it is you do, because I knew it was so many different things, and I've never been able to like pinpoint what it is, because I just everything's going on. I just see you there, and I'm like, there they are again.
Yes.
So what is your like cultural background, your heritage? Did you say Nigerian?
So yes, I'm Black Irish.
Yeah.
So I grew up in Ireland, but I'm Nigerian. That's where my heritage comes from Edo in particularly. So I'm Edo. If anybody doesn't know, that's Benin, the Benin Empire.
Ah, yes.
So that's my heritage.
Yeah, so that would be modern day Benin,
yes,
or is it modern day Nigeria?
Modern day Nigeria, which was then split up between Benin and then what is now known as Edo City, but also called Benin sometimes.
Okay, so what tribe is that? Is it Edo tribe? Or?
So Edo is a state, and then we have multiple different tribes. So I'm from the Ishan tribe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's like 55 tribes just in that place, and that's one state.
And that's all within Benin.
Yeah, and then we have Nigeria, the whole of Nigeria, and then we have Yoruba. All that kind of
because
stuff.
that's what I was going to say, because normally when people talk about Nigeria, they talk about either Igbo or Yoruba. And I think Yoruba is the dominant tribe, is it? Or the dominant language?
It's actually Hausa, which are the
really?
people up north. Yes,
what?
They're the dominant tribe.
I've never even heard of them.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Loads of people are from there. Hausas, then we have the Yorubas, then we have Edos, Benis, the Edos / Benis, which are where I'm from, and then we also have Igbos, Calabar. There's loads.
Wow.
Like, it can go on. There are places that I don't know.
Yeah.
It's loads in Nigeria, but it's a very beautiful place.
Yeah,
very
so when people ask you like where you're from, you don't say Benin, you say Nigeria?
I just say Nigeria, yeah.
Is that because people might not know Benin?
Well, Edo is in Nigeria.
Oh, so it's in modern day Nigeria,
yes.
but it's part of the Benin Empire?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting it now.
Yeah. And then we have Benin Republic, which is the other part.
Modern day Benin. Yeah. Okay, no, that makes sense. Have you been able to visit your like homeland, shall we say?
I have not, unfortunately. Obviously, with COVID, there was plans to go. 2020, COVID hit. 2021, we're still here. Yeah. Hopefully 2022 is a bit different. That is the plan, to go back in 2022, but it would be lovely to go. Obviously, being somebody who is openly out there and queer, it does pose a risk as well going home.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you actually, like, you know, how do you feel you'd be like welcomed or not welcomed, should I say?
I think it really depends on where you go and who you stay with as well, which is why I always say finding your tribe is incredibly important. So I am very lucky that there are a group of activists who are already in Nigeria who are openly out and queer as well, who are Black Nigerian queer people who are living there, who are doing the work, and it is nice to be able to have that to go to as well, but also see my family. And I wouldn't say that they're completely understanding, but they're definitely a bit more accepting of me just doing my own thing. Yeah. So it's kind of like, we'll just let Elle do their thing.
Yeah. And how was it like, sort of, with the family, you know, because I guess you come from a fairly traditional African family,
Yes.
and as we know, there's a lot of homophobia, a lot of transphobia
Yeah.
within the African communities in
Yes.
England as well as actually in Africa.
Yeah.
So how were you like treated by your family once you sort of told them?
So the thing is, I never really did this whole thing of coming out
Yeah.
to my family. I just kind of always believed in standing in my truth, and
Yeah.
that's what I always tell people, especially, and it's also one of the reasons why I work with younger people as well, is standing in your truth, whatever that is, whether that is you are queer or you are not, and you want to be a creative and you don't want to be a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer, which is usually what, you know, our parents want us to do.
Yeah.
I did not go down that route either. So I think from quite early on, my parents knew that I was quite different and just kind of went with it.
Yeah.
When it did kind of come out, there was issues. There was a whole of not talking to people for a couple of years. But the more I just kept doing my own thing, the more they kind of realized that there is no stopping this. This is who this person is, and that's how they're always going to be. And I sometimes tell my mum, like, you taught me to be a strong person, so don't be offended when I stand in my truth, because I learned that from you.
Yeah.
So, you know, she sees that part of me, which is great. So it's talked about in the family now. We do have conversations around it. It is a bit more accepted, and it has allowed for other people to express themselves however they wish to express themselves.
What, within your family as well? Yeah. Okay.
So that has been amazing. But yeah, I have been incredibly lucky to be here as opposed to back home.
Yeah.
With all that happening, because unfortunately I do know people who have passed on because of it. So yeah, I am quite lucky in that sense that whilst we are traditional, we are also very modern in our family as well.
Yeah, because I've got a friend as well, and he's a member of the LGBTQ plus community, and he has been pretty much cut off from his family and just completely shunned by his parents. I believe they are Nigerian as well. And they just want like nothing more to do with him, and you know, it's heartbreaking, and it's something I can never even imagine. Do you know what I mean? As being like a cis het male, like, do you know what I mean? It's not something I've ever even had to think about. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And it's just absolutely heartbreaking, but people have to go through that. So it's great, but you know, you've forced your parents and your family to kind of get on with it and just be like, you know, this is who I am, and you love me for who I am. Yeah,
and that's just it. And you know what? Sometimes I always tell people, family is family, but it's not always about blood. Yeah. Find your tribe. Find the people who accept you, who love you, and who care for you unconditionally. Yeah. And go with that, because those other people, they will come in their time. They will come in their time, whether it is on their deathbed or whether it is 10 years later, they will come. That's the thing. And the more of us that continue to stand in our truth, whatever that is how we will change within our own community, the ideologies that we have from colonialism.
And I love that term you use, standing in your truth. Is that something you've come up with yourself, or is that?
Yes, that is something I've always said.
It's an original trademark, copyright.
Yes. Yeah. I have many a quote, but that is definitely one of them. Always stand in your truth. I was actually talking to somebody about that yesterday, and standing in your truth in who you're friends with, what it is that you do, and what it is that you believe in is very important to stand in that and take time out for yourself. Yeah. Take that time out for yourself, and whatever is not good for you, remove it.
And, you know, as you said, you do, you're a self-care coach?
I'm a self-love coach,
Sorry, self-love coach.
Yeah, but self-care is included in that.
Yeah, of course,
it's very important, so yes.
And with that, do you think that was sort of inspired by this lack of support initially from your family for who you are?
Definitely. Being a self-love coach has taught me many things, but also to just understand and accept myself. The thing is, we cannot ask for acceptance anywhere else if we are not accepting of ourselves. Yep. So being a self-love coach is all about that. It's about empowering people, whatever way they want to accept themselves. And when you accept yourself, it really doesn't matter who it is who's not accepting you, because that's actually their issue. Yeah. And they can still see that you are standing in that, in that full self-acceptance of yourself. But when you have that self-doubt or disbelief of who you are or what it is that you can actually give out to the world, it is a lot easier for people to come in and chip away at you and say things that will go deeper. Yeah.
Wow. And so, like, how do people, like, reach out for this sort of service?
So there's a new website coming out.
Yeah.
Like I said, so
And it's dedicated to that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Mose Phoenix is a new website that will be coming out hopefully before the end of this year, where my services will be available. But starting from September, I will be offering workshops via online at the moment, because we're still in this panoramic as well.
The pan of chocolate.
It's a panoramic, so we're still in this panoramic at the moment. So it will be offered via online. I'm doing workshops on what it means to have self-love, what that actually looks like to you, because self-love is different for everybody, and it's very individualistic, and we are a plethora of Black excellence as a community.
Yes.
We can never be boxed in.
Yeah.
So stand in that and understand that you are beautiful whatever way it is that you present yourself to the world, and present in that in all your confidence. So that's what it's all about. It's about empowering people and working with spirituality and going back to our roots.
Yeah, I see you've got a crystal on. Is that a spiritual?
Yes, rose quartz is really good for clarity and things like that. So so I'm very spiritual. It's a mix and match, but I'm also very blessed that I have family members who are very much in that lineage of spirituality, and that is actually what they do as a living. My granddad, for example, so that's somebody, probably the only cis het man I look up to. Because our family is very matriarchal apart from that. It is the women we carry. We carry it all. But so that is something that I'm very passionate about, and bringing that in. So I do hold sister circles, and there will be a sister circle coming back called Unapologetic, and that is for Black women, and that's women with an X. So if you identify as a woman, you are welcome to come. And we're scoping out venues, because that is actually going to be done face to face twice a month, where we sit and we talk, and we have healers, spiritual healers, practitioners of all different types in that space to help us hold that space while we facilitate and people, and whatever you share there, that's where it is. It doesn't go anywhere else, doesn't go on social media, it's not being talked about anywhere else. That's where it's going to be held, and we're all there to hold each other. We are a community, and that's what we need to be. Continuous.
That's great. And one thing I've noticed from all the things you've said, all the things that you actually do, is it's all based around helping other people. And because would you say you're quite like a, I don't want to use the word strong, because it's obviously thrown at Black people a lot of the time, but we're just like invincible and nothing hurts us. But you're clearly someone who's like able to take a bit of weight off other people's shoulders, because you've been through so much and you carry yourself so well.
Yes, definitely. But that also has come with time. That's come with time. That's come with taking time out. I quit my job this year. I said, I'm not working with people who don't see me for me. I will not go back into a box that I never fitted into to make you comfortable whilst I'm doing my job. If that's an issue, then we're done, and I did that. And it's been hard, obviously, because this pandemic and finding work is difficult, but it's been beautiful as well, because I've been able to embrace so many other things, and so many other things keep coming. We've got a group now called Sisters in Solidarity, which is a group of Black women, again with an X, who are here for the community. Everybody has brought what they do personally into that, and because of that we are able to hold each other, carry each other when we need to. When somebody needs to take a step back, the rest of us are there to do that. And that's the important thing, is like this belief of the strong Black woman or the strong Black man needs to be demolished. You can be strong, but actually to acknowledge and say I need help is not a sign of weakness. That is a sign of strength. Definitely. That you are able to ask for that. Definitely. So that's really important.
Wholeheartedly agree with that. And just to wrap up, really, what's one thing that you're really one of your greatest achievements? One thing you're really like passionate or like really happy with that you've done thus far? It could be anything. It could be your own personal journey or whatever.
I would definitely say it's getting to the point where I can now have a website and call myself a self-employed self-love coach. Like, it's really difficult to put yourself out there, because like, yeah, I can take a lot of weight off other people's shoulders, but you also get a lot of backlash,
Of
and
course, yeah.
people think, you know, I'm just airy fairy, like
Yeah.
out in the clouds kind of a person,
Yeah.
but that's not true.
No.
So my biggest achievement to me is being able to ground myself in what it is that I know to be true to me, and what it is to see that my community needs, and to be able to continue to do that,
Yeah.
and to have multiple people around me. I don't do it by myself. Best
Yeah.
believe I really don't do it by myself.
Wow, yeah, that is an amazing answer. I love that. Perfect. And lastly, what's one of your sort of goals for the future, whether that's long term or near future?
So at the moment, I am working with a friend collaboratively. We are running a holiday club
Yeah.
for children. So like a forestry school where we do free play with them, and it's mainly black children, and allowing them to see that they have access to the land just like everybody else, and nothing is above their limits. So I think for the future, it would be to be able to push that out into the community and get more black people. It's the first time we've done it.
Yeah.
And to be able to have 26 plus black children out in the woods,
Yeah.
playing and climbing trees, when on the first day they were looking at everything like, what do I do?
Yeah, yeah,
and we're
yeah.
4 weeks in, and they're able to just do their own thing now.
Yeah, and enjoy themselves.
Yeah, and we can play in that as well. So I think the aim is to continue with that. That has been definitely a massive achievement, but also to bring adults into that. Because we need to get in touch with our playful side as well,
Yeah.
and play in those spaces, and understand that we also have an absolute right to this land.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, and just to go off that, actually, like, you know, as black people and members of the African diaspora, we were so in touch with nature and spirituality, and then as we've come, like since colonization and immigrating to places like England and all over Europe, all of a sudden we find ourselves in cities and in urban spaces with a lack of green space for us to like connect and stuff, you know, and that's something that is definitely needed. So I feel like, you know, that what you've just said is amazing, and I think we need to push that narrative. But
definitely. So get behind us.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
We will make it, you know, into something more cemented, because this was the first year, so it was a trial and error. There's been loads of ups and downs, as you do, but it's been beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, next week is the last week, and I'm very sad.
Yeah. Oh, well, this has been a beautiful interview, and I'm so glad you came through for this. We really appreciate having you today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
No worries.